Wow, is everybody here? I think I need to turn my mic down just a little bit. Hope y'all are doing amazing. We're going to have an amazing time today. I can already tell you it's going to be amazing. What a season that we have in our life right now. It's crazy, the things that are going on around us. And that doesn't even, include this election season that we're in, where every ad on TV and everything is crazy. So it's just a crazy, crazy time. Sorry, my technology's not cooperating. Okay, so, but it's crazy, and we're in a season of craziness. I feel like it's a time when you can't see the finish line. Let me give you a couple of examples, but before I do that, let me say good morning, first of all. And good fall. It's fall weather coming in. I think they said it's going to be the last 90-degree weather in this part of Georgia for the year. So fall's here. Couple things to think about. Let's wake up the algorithms of Facebook. We always have to acknowledge that. And I challenge you to do a couple things this morning that we always do, but I think our conversation this morning is going to be particularly appropriate for the close of September. As we finish strong our month of September, I think you're going to have a lot of people that you're going to want to hear this message. So tag them in the conversation dialogue. Put them in our chat so that whether they listen to it now or they listen to it later, we can make sure they hear it. Okay, so let's do that. And let me start with an example and an illustration for you guys, or a couple of them actually. If you all know that today, anybody in here put an emoji of a tractor or a thumbs up or something if you or your family are involved in the farming business and the production of our food. Thank you for doing that, number one. But how many of you remember seeing pictures of the old way that farming happened, with a mule or a donkey pulling a plow, and the farmer had his hands on that plow and he was plowing that row, getting it ready to plant? And it'd be so easy to go crooked, to not plow a straight row. But do you know what that farmer had to do? The donkey had blinders on. If you remember seeing, they put blinders on the donkey, and that farmer, he stayed focused on the far end of the row, the far end that he was going to plow towards. He stayed focused on that far end, and that way he stayed straight. If he looked down at the dirt right in front of him, he would be doing a zigzag all the way up and down the field, but he stayed focused on the target at the end. And granted, I know, the donkey, the mules and the donkeys must have had ADD, so they had to blind them so they couldn't lose focus of where they were going. I think of another illustration that's more relevant to me today. I've actually never held the handles of one of those old plows behind a donkey. It would be quite an experience. I've held a jackhammer that about shook me to death. They got out of control, but never held one of those old plows and gone down and plowed a row in the dirt with a mule or a donkey. But one thing I have done is I've played golf. And how many of you have played golf and you tee off and you're hitting towards that hole with the flag in it, but the terrain is not always level. So what I find myself doing when I'm down below a hill, let's say, and over the hill is the flag, but because of where my ball is, I can no longer see the flag. And in order to play that hole, I have to walk and climb to the top of the hill, and I find a treetop, something I can see from that low point, and I focus on that treetop so that when I go back down to where I'm operating in the moment, where my ball is, where like in your life, if you're using this as an analogy, where today is, you go back down and you can't see much. You can't get correct information because you can't see the hole. But what you can do is you can see the top of that tree that's in alignment with that hole you're trying to hit your ball towards. Okay? And so sometimes we always need to have a spot or something we're anchored on so that in the midst of the storm we can still see our target. Does that make sense? So that, like, I know in our business today that, I mean, if I were to think about having that anchor out there, well, there are three things I have to do. I have to retail, I have to recruit, build a team, and I have to train them. I have to retail, recruit, train, retail, recruit, train. Those are the three activities I have to be about doing in order to inspire more people to healthier living, in order to have more people join my team that I can help build that reliable, faithful, consistent income, and to train them and duplicate. It's kind of like in the church. It's evangelism and discipleship. And, your goal is to disciple someone, and ultimately, if you've duplicated yourself, you have disciples who are disciple makers. You have a maker of disciple makers, and then you're in a duplicatable model. Okay, and Trey, I think Trey's on here today. Trey, say hey if you're on here. Trey and I are going to do a training one day on that people continuum and talk about that target of, someone who's not just a partner or not just a leader, but they're a maker of leaders. And we're going to do that training for you guys. But right now, we are headed to such a good place. And I'll tell you what I was thinking about this morning. Let's just go ahead and acknowledge the big elephant in the room. Guys, we are in the midst. The reason I'm doing this training, for some of you are probably joining us that are not even in Juice Plus, but for those of you that are embraced in the trenches and are building an amazing business for you and your family and love our Juice Plus products, we are in the midst of, I wouldn't call it a storm, I would just call it chaos, because we're moving from 50 years of locally stored data where we had a big computer that was named Bubba, and he had his own room, he had his own air conditioning system, he had batteries beneath his floor, he backed up to a site in Phoenix, Arizona every night, and for the better part of 50 years, that's where our technology has been housed. But we made a wise decision, some might say a scary decision, but a wise decision to move into the cloud architecture, so we didn't have to keep Bubba in a room by himself in air conditioning with batteries beneath the floor. We could move into a modern database architecture in the cloud that was it was updating like not every 50 years. It was updating every day with firmware updates and software updates, and we would always be on the most current platform. But the migration of that data into a new place, I would call it chaos for the moment. It is, the data migration is happening, but it's taken longer than we thought. That 50-year-old hand didn't quite shake with the 21st century hand as fast and as well as we thought. They're on it. They're auditing data as it moves. They're cleaning data as it moves. And they're on it. It's just taking longer than we thought. So when you were expecting to wake up and have a clear vision and a clear focus to see where you were, the data's just not there to help you. And we got dependent on that data. I mean, I thought this morning, I said, man, it was so much easier when all I had was a fax machine. I could just fax it in. I got a receipt, the fax went through, and we were golden. And sometimes technology, when we're getting something new, it's like Lori, I always want the new phone and I always want a new car. But Lori says, I know how to use this phone, don't get me a new one. I know where every button is in my car. I know how to move my seat, find my radio channels. I know everything. I don't want a new car. So we get used and comfortable to existing technology, and we resist the new. Well, we resisted the new for a long time, but now the new is here, and the flipping the switch, it's like you've gotten into, maybe it's, instead of getting a new car, it's going to be like going from a horse and buggy to a Ferrari. They've used the analogy in our business that we're leaping from our old car to this brand new amazing car. But I think it's more chaos because we were still in the horse and buggy, I think, with our technology, And so we're getting there. It's going to be amazing, and the destination is going to be so worth it. But it's all kind of chaos. My wife's having surgery tomorrow, and it's in Augusta. It's an hour and a half away, and now there's a hurricane and tropical storm force winds and weather. So now we're having to leave the day before to get in a hotel to be there in time in the morning, just in case, So chaos is all around us. And thank you for those that are praying for Lori. Appreciate that. But let's talk about what do we do in the midst of all this craziness. So we need to stay focused on our goal, because you know what? This will not be the first time, if we're honest, and it will not be the last time that we're faced with chaos. And I kind of like to call it fogginess or lack of clarity, so that you can't focus. And I told somebody the other day, you know, one of the things for me, I know I have a lot of weaknesses that you all can acknowledge and certainly critique me on and help me get better at all my weaknesses. And I have some strengths too, and I have a lot of strengths. And hopefully Trey helps me make those available to you guys and known to you all so I can help you. But one of the things that I'm weak at is I am not very good at patience. How many of you all would acknowledge, just put a capital P in the chat if you're like, you have the patience of Job, and put a lowercase p in there if you're like me and like you have to dig and hunt for every ounce of patience you get. And so this, you know, when we've got this technology challenge, and I love technology to be more efficient, it challenges my patience, you know. But it's not the first time my patience has been challenged. It's not the last time it'll be challenged. And we have to realize that as entrepreneurs, as leaders, we just have to weather these storms. I mean, regardless of what happens, I've been with this company 36 years. They're going to make everything right. They'll fix all the numbers. You know, if something's off $20 or $30 or a customer got the wrong product because of the shipping and the technology costs, they're going to fix all that. It may not make you happy in the moment, but they're going to fix it. But I promise you the destination, knowing what a fax machine looked like and knowing what living in the most modern technology architecture and being able to update it, software, firmware, just like that, and you don't have to pick up Bubba and move him out of his air-conditioned room with batteries in the floor and move the computer like we're doing right now. Once that's done, we are going to be golden, people. It's going to be amazing. But here's what I want you to do. I want you to know that there is light at the end of the tunnel. I love that feeling, whether, you know, if you've ever run a marathon. I've tried, and I broke a bone on mile 21, and I've never done anything more than a half marathon since. But there's that point, and I can't legitimately say I can do it with a marathon. But I mean, if you can run 21 miles, you can run 26. But they say that when you run a marathon, there's this wall at 20 miles that you just like, you're ready to give up, and you just got to fight through it, and then you begin to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Well, whether it's a half marathon or whatever, if you can see the end of the race, you can see the finish line. Once you see that, it really doesn't matter how tired you are because you can see the completion of your effort. So we're going to get through this, guys, and whatever chaos you're going through, whether it's the technology update that we're going through, or there's frustration because the data becomes so important. You want to see it so clear. But our company is so good. Their leadership and their IT department, literally, guys, somebody or some fraction of our entire IT team has not left the office since this migration started a couple weeks ago. They're taking shifts, they're sleeping there, they're working on this, and they're in this battle in the ditch for us to get it done. So it's going to be fine. But it can look ugly in the moment. Think about, normally we're talking about finishing the month strong. We're gathering our data. We're getting on our call. We've got a week left in the month, and we're going after it. But that data is not available to us. But the people, the relationships, the conversations you're having are. And right now, you're probably seeing that cocoon or that caterpillar, and it's hard to focus on the butterfly that's coming. But that's what I want you to see. Sometimes it takes a storm. It takes something to clear the path for the beauty you're about to behold, okay? And so I know, because I've been with this company long enough, that I can see through the clutter. I can't see clearly, but I just know, trust, and have faith that that's what's on the back end. Here's the most frustrating thing to me right now, and that is I love our customers. I love the people that have been faithful and loyal on this journey of inspired, healthier living with us. Many of them with me for decades. And they're frustrated right now. They feel, here's what makes me feel frustrated, is some of them have never logged into our computer system, and they just look to me to take care of them. And I was grateful to do it. And we're in a new day and a new age with credit cards and stuff where they're going to have their own situation. Now, I know that down the road, if they want to give me their password and I can go in, I can still help them, or they can call on the phone. They don't have to do, the technology if they don't want to. But right now, the phones are crowded. The emails are crowded because of the chaos, okay? So this is where our pain is, caring for our customers that turn to us to care for them. And so just let them know we're going through a season of chaos for an upgrade that's going to make things amazing, but you can't access their data right now, and you'll get to it as soon as you can. Just get them to calm down. And if a mistake's made, we can send it back, we can change it, we can do whatever. But you have to get them to understand that you care and you're going through the same chaos that they're experiencing, and it's real. But we had to do this. It's a 50-year, I think about, it's funny because it was 50 years, okay? And this is a little bit preachy for you guys, and you may or may not want to hear this, but if you read the Old Testament, which is the history of the Jewish people from creation to Adam to Abraham to Noah, all the whole stories that we all know, Jonah and the whale, we know all those stories in the Old Testament. Do you know what happened in Leviticus, which is kind of the laws that the people of Israel, the Jewish people, that they live by? Do you know what happened every 50 years? They got released from what they were currently slaves and bondages to, or in bondage to, and they had what was called a year of Jubilee, and they were set free for a fresh start. But I can't even imagine the chaos that occurred to finish that 49th year so that everything was wiped out and they got a new start. Well, that's the way I feel right now, is God saying, it's been 50 years, we get a new fresh start. We got a new computer, we have a new CEO, we've got Luminate, a whole new product innovation pipeline. It's actually one of the most exciting times in the history of our company, but there's chaos in the change. So we're going to get there. I just know that it's part of the process, and when you see it as part of the process, not a catastrophe or not chaos, it is chaos. It feels like chaos, but the chaos is part of the process to get where we want to go. It's so cool to see the dawning of a new day, the year of Jubilee releasing us into the next 50 years, okay? So go look up the year of Jubilee, and it's in Leviticus. You probably can Google it too, and it will let you see it. It's so parallels what we're doing right now. It's so cool, okay? But we got to finish the month strong, and how many of you love Snoopy? I wanted to do this call this morning because I want to give you some assurance. Everything is all right, even if you're seeing chaos in the moment. It actually was expected and known. It just lasted a little longer than we thought it was going to. So what I want you to do is I want you to finish strong, focusing on those three things: retail, recruiting, and training. Finish the month out. There'll be more and more announcements coming out about the data getting more accurate, the migration of data finishing up in your back office. If you haven't done it yet, go ahead and log into backoffice.juiceplus.com and log into juiceplus.com. You're going to have to click the access account, or you're going to have to reset your password. I forgot what the little button says. Account access or account reset. It's right below the login on juiceplus.com. You click on that, enter the email the company has, and it'll give you a chance to send you an email so you can create your new password. You can use the same password. It just has to be reset. Same thing with your backoffice.juiceplus.com. Use the same email everywhere. You can use different passwords, but I'd use the same one if I were you, just so you could remember, okay? We're going to have an amazing finish this month. October looks absolutely phenomenal with all these new things in place. I'm grateful that we're getting our new toy, our new computer. We're going to be on the most modern platform of anything out there in the world today. But I don't like the chaos any more than you do. But you know what? I got to hit that golf shot, and I'm going to climb over the hill. I'm going to look at that tree and see where my big picture focus needs to be, and I'm going to get back down there, and I'm going to confidently hit that shot because I know where I'm headed, okay? So just know you can do that right through the chaos. Now, we're doing some things for you to make, hopefully, life easier. How many of you, I would activate account? Thank you, Robin Smith. I could not think of that. I knew it was an A. You click on activate account. Sheila, Robin, Valerie. Oh, man, everybody remembered it but me. Julie, thank you. How many of you have done a power hour, or some of us on Wendy and my team, we were calling it Empower Hour? How many of you have done at least one of those? You've hosted one or attended one? Give me a thumbs up. I'm going to pause. I want to see how many of you have done a power hour. Either Facebook is slow or nobody's done a power hour. Okay, Lori's done one. Anybody else done a power hour? Okay, I'll give y'all some space to not answer, because I know a bunch of you have done them, because I've been on them and I've seen. There we go. Valerie, Julie, Lisa, Carol. Okay, so we're going to do something. Those are not going away. Those live power hours are going to stay, and they're absolutely amazing. It's that moment in the day when you can get on there with accountability and focus and do the activities that are the high pay activities for our business, okay? What I want to do is if you miss one, or if your schedule gets crazy and you need that focus, we're going to program into our website, and I'm going to be your guide. It may be a little different, but from my perspective, the important things you need to be doing, and we're going to add different modules. If you want to go more than an hour, maybe you want to focus on, creating the next event or whatever. So we'll have some different modules. But October 1st, you'll be able to go to our website, and I think, Trey, you can tell me if I'm right or wrong. It's not going to work right now, but I think it'll be makealife.com/power hour. I couldn't promise that, but Trey can maybe answer. I think we can make it that if we want to. Since we're declaring that, we can make that work. But coming October 1st, there'll be a power. You can log in whenever you want to. If you're a night owl and you're up at 3 in the morning, log in at 3 in the morning to do your power. Don't try and call many people at that time of day. You might run people off and lose a customer or two. Don't do customer follow-up at 3 a.m. It's not a good idea. You could text it. I guess you could text them and hope they have Do Not Disturb turned on, but I wouldn't even do it. I would just, plan it and activate it later. It's going to be on our YouTube channel too. Okay, YouTube. So here, what's going to happen? There are going to be two versions. There's going to be a guided version where I'm going through it live with you. I'm talking to you for 2 or 3 minutes and sending you off to do the task. Talking to you for a few minutes, sending you off to do the task. But then there's going to be a silent version, which is just going to be a focused mode where something's going to go across the screen. You're going to start the video. It'll go for 60 minutes. And it'll tell you like every 10 or 12 minutes what you're supposed to be doing. Maybe you just need a prompt and don't need me talking to you. There'll be different versions of it. And again, maybe you want to go for an extra hour today. There'll be some more modules that you can add. So there'll be when an hour's up, you can add this or you can add that and some more tasks and things. So we're going to have that available for you real soon. I think that's going to be a great add-on to the power hour that you can do live. But sometimes life schedule gets in the way. You forget to schedule it. You just want to do it when you want to do it, so we're going to make that available to you, okay? This has really gained some momentum, and I think it's going to be something that can really help you and your team get into a rhythm together. I think so many people let life happen instead of making it happen. Remember that phrase just a minute. Life, it's what you make it. Think about that phrase for a minute. And I think that's what we need to do each week. We need to make the week happen instead of letting it happen. And this text is not going to assure that happens to you. It's you saying, yes, Curt, I need some accountability so that each week early in the week, I can remember that I need to plan it out, be intentional. And so every Monday, early in the morning, you're going to get a text from me that's just an encouragement. It might be a momentum statement, a quote, an action step, a verse, but it'll be just one thing for the week, just to kick off your week. And text wake up to that number, and you'll be added to that list. You can get off whenever you want to. Okay? What did I tell you to remember just a minute ago? I said what? You don't want to let life just happen. You want to do what? You want to make it. So we have a tool for that too. We do a podcast now. Did it before, but with Trey's help and having the right people around you that are great leaders, great visionaries, and really somebody that can, sometimes you need somebody to do it with you. So Trey Bowden is my dear friend, and he kind of keeps me focused. I don't know if you all knew, but I'm probably undiagnosed ADD. But I don't take anything for it. I just take my Juice Plus, take my Illuminate, and get up and have my quiet time, and I'm good. But because I am that undiagnosed ADD, Trey kind of keeps us focused, and he kind of hosts and interviews me on these, and there are new episodes coming. And then guess what the name of the podcast is? Life. It's what you make it. And there's a link in there below so you can find it easy. You can subscribe to it on Spotify, Apple, wherever you do your podcast, and you can search Curt Beavers on any of those podcast platforms and find it too. But we would love to have you subscribe to that, and then when you have time to listen, just take a listen. Maybe it'll be something for a trip in the car, a jog, a walk, some time on the treadmill, or something where you can just get the benefit of that. Okay. This month, October 2nd, we're going to start the month strong. We're going to kick butt next month, and we're going to get it going October the 2nd. October 16th, special training on three-way calls. It's the number one tool in our business by far. It's how I know if people are actually going to be successful in this business or not. We're going to train on the how to, the why to, and the scheduling and the roles people play in making three-way calls happen. And then October 23rd is our Finish Strong call. Okay? And you can find me anywhere you want to, just about. Just at Curt Beavers. I got in early enough in all these platforms. I got to use my name, not weird spelling, not dash, not underscore. It's just Curt Beavers, no space, one word, and you can do that and find me just about anywhere, okay? And our makealife.com website, it's got places you can find us too. I really appreciate you joining us. I hope you've got that tree picked out over the hill and you got the right club in your hands, so that you can hit it straight, hit it long, and it'll land on the green, not because you can see immediately right in front of you right now. There's chaos, there's fog. It's not clear. But you know where you're headed, you know where you're going, and there's that treetop over the hill. As long as you hit it towards that, the flag's right below it, and your ball will be there so you have a birdie putt. And if it's your day, maybe a hole in one. Okay? Thanks for joining us. We're going to be Lori recovering from surgery for a few days, but next week we should be back full throttle, ready to go and do a kick off the month with you next Wednesday, October the 2nd. Be blessed, weather the chaos, because where we're going is absolutely amazing. Have a wonderful day. See ya.